Time now, though, for Tom Keene, Bloomberg Editor-at-Large and host of Bloomberg Surveillance on Bloomberg Radio. And the focus today, Tom, is bonds, in particular what you call the ugly versus the better view of the 30-year auction.
Yeah, there was a little some drama yesterday with the 10-year. We went 3-year, which went well. Then we went 10-year yesterday. And 30-year today, the farther out in maturity, the more challenges there are here. And this is not like, oh, we're going bankrupt or things are bad. It's not inflammatory, but it's the minutia here that, frankly, I don't focus on too often. And all of a sudden, with all that federal debt, it's a big deal. Let's go back to the 10-year yesterday. It went ugly. The auction was a little bit ugly.
And what kind of anticipation was there ahead of the auction? Because there's certainly been a lot of supply.
There was tension. RBS says, Royal Bank of Scotland says there was some tension there. Yields went up. And then after the auction, as everyone looked at the debris, the tail came up and then it came in. The yield came down. Let's go to a chart.
Why that reaction? Why did it go up and then come back down?
That's just what the market felt. The market looked at the auction. They were nervous. The auction came, and then it came right back in. And there's a wide understanding, perhaps that's what we'll see this afternoon with the 30-year. Let's look at the 30-year and see why this is so important. And the answer is there's a 1980. Scarlet, that's before Gossip Girl happened, and the yield comes down. It looks a lot like that great disinflation. You can see the little spike up there way over on the right side of the chart, and RBS making very clear there's value here. Once we get through the auction, even if the yield comes up a little bit, RBS suggesting the market will step in and buy this paper today just because of the value of the 30-year yield right now. It's a very interesting ballet here, and guess what? We get to do it soon again.
Well, there's a lot of concern about the demand for U.S. Treasuries, especially with a lot of BRIC countries, Russia and Brazil being the latest, to talk about how they want to perhaps cut back on Treasuries and buy IMF bonds instead.
Absolutely. There's a news flow here, whether it's, say, Nouriel Roubini in this morning's FT talking about Latvia, or what you cite yesterday, this idea of Russia and Brazil looking to the IMF for the new reserve that's out there in distance. A lot of cross currents that get you to the immovable force, which is France and particularly the United States going to the well day after day, not 5 days a week, but 2 and 3 days a week.
It can seem like it for some bond investors.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, this is Liz Goldenberg, who works here at Bloomberg. This was her area for years. I'd be like, yeah, Liz, so what, so what, so what? Well, now the so what is here. It's this idea that these auctions every afternoon. It's most interesting, and today is the most important day of the week for the 30-year.
And when everyone looks at these 30-year auctions, they're looking at indirect bidders. Perhaps the foreign central banks, overseas investors. Yeah,
most of the people we talked on surveillance suggest the bid-to-cover ratio is the inside baseball ratio to look at. I just want to know how it trades afterwards. We saw that good news yesterday with a 10-year. Will we see that good news today with a 30-year bond?
Right. Lots of anticipation ahead of that. What are you looking at on Bloomberg Surveillance?
We're looking at retail sales. Patty Edwards will join us. I like Patty Edwards because she walks the malls. She'll give us the picture from the malls. I want to know about the models at Abercrombie and Fitch.
I was just going to say.
I'm shocked you were going to say that.
Or the Victoria's Secret models.
That would be true, too. Patty Edwards will give us that view, and also just a packed show as we go. Ed Adarino on newspapers as well.
Oh, okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to that.
Sure.
Bloomberg Surveillance on Bloomberg Radio from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be watching for that.